Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to the Women's Empower Network. I am so excited to have Melissa with us here today, and she's going to share a little bit something about herself and her journey and what got her doing what she's doing today. So, welcome, Melissa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here.
That's great. So, if you could tell us a little bit about your background and how did that lead you to what you're doing today?
Yes, I believe that intimacy work is like in my bones. And no matter where I go, that will go with me. So over the course of, kind of my own personal development and self-development, I just uncovered that I have such a deep passion for like deep, authentic connection that just excites me and enlivens me. And then over time, discovered that I actually am quite good at helping other people access that within themselves. And so I've operated as an intimacy coach for the past 6 years. And then this year, I founded my own publishing company, helping people kind of excavate their own inner story, which is really still in the same vein of work, but bringing that into the publishing world. So bringing their books into being physically published.
Well, let me ask you, because there's a lot of different perceptions about the word intimacy. So if you
Yes,
could tell us more about how you think of that and what that means to you.
thank you. I always forget, like, right, not everyone sees it the way I see it. I see it as into me see. And so that's it requires we can't have other people see deeper into us than we've been willing to see into ourselves. And so, for the first, I don't know, 25, nearly 30 years of my life, I just felt like um an inner loneliness, like why can't why can't people really see me? Why does it feel like no one really hears me? Why does it feel like people don't want to know me for me? Even my husband and I, we would get into conversations where I would say, like, it's great that you appreciate me for what I do, but do you just appreciate me for being like who I am? Like, yes, I can go and make a nice cake or I could have a nice baby for you or whatever, but like, um, what about just me as who I am? And I realized I was doing a lot to put up walls to keep and prevent people from actually seeing into me. And so the more that I then kind of did that for myself, the more that other people were able to see into me. And then there was this beautiful benefit of like, then I was able to see deeper into others as well. Um, so that's how I see it. And so as I opened my publishing company, and really even as I was doing just the intimacy coaching work, it was always about your whole life, not just, in your intimate partnership, but how are you with your children? How are you with your clients? How are you with your team in your work in the world? Because like how comfortable we are with who we really are ends up permeating every aspect of our lives.
There's just so many thoughts come to mind. I can remember when I was younger, I kept having the story of I attracted unavailable men. They were emotionally unavailable. And just like you said earlier, it turned out if I really was being introspective and honest, I was emotionally unavailable. That is so powerful what you said about, if it seems like that somebody that with this conversation, just whatever they're seeing in the world is probably the thing that they're doing, right?
Isn't that so true? Everything is a mirror. And I hate that. I like have a love-hate relationship with that because like when stuff is happening to me, I'm like, I am not like that. Like, I don't know what this is trying to veer back to me, but it's not that I'm like that. But there always is some element of that, like everything happening is actually holding up a mirror for us. And so then there's that paradoxical side of me that's also like so curious, like what am I being initiated into? Like, where is my next step of growth that I'm being called into? Because I really think that that's very true. And, I think we probably don't give enough attention to the fact that that also affects us in business. Our comfortability with our visibility, with allowing ourselves to be a bigger part of our brand, with allowing people to really know us. All of that ties into our it's the same conversation as how we're doing it in our romantic relationship. So
It is, and that's one thing, the tagline in this group is unleash your inner voice. And I noticed for myself, it's like, it's, I'm excited to be transparent because as I'm transparent, that is given permission for you to be more transparent or for somebody else to be more transparent, and that there's actually nothing to be afraid of, and that's part of creating this safe space too, you know, so that we can allow ourselves to be seen and heard. Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I don't know if in your upbringing, if you were stifled in ways because it wasn't accepted when you were
Well,
growing
for
up.
sure. And I think probably we all are, aren't we? There's that powerful death mother energy. Are you familiar with that? Death mother?
Mm-mm. Tell me
Um,
about it.
it is kind of hard to summarize. It has permeated our whole culture because of the patriarchy and colonization that has existed for the last several thousand years, but basically leading us to a position where we're looking to authority figures, institutions, organizations for nurturing and support. And those very organizations that we think are going to give us nurturing and support actually give us scarcity and actually leave us lacking, actually potentially even do abuse, or do violence or harm against us. And so, and that unfortunately is the case with, every institution and organization, but as well as our parents, our authority figures and things, because they also have all been raised by this gap or this scarcity where no one has been allowed to be themselves. And it's funny when you say like, um, it's safe, it's okay, like you can be transparent, like nothing wrong is going to happen. It's like that actually hasn't been my experience. Like it's required, I've had to cultivate a lot of courage to really be myself, and it has come with consequences. But overall, I have to trust that as people fall away or whole entire groups fall away from my life, that leaves a space for then the right people and the right groups to come in, allowing me and supporting me to continue that path of more and more being myself. Yeah, because I'm going through that massively in like many, many areas of my life right now in a deeper way than I ever have. I didn't know, you think you've kind of plateaued in an area, and then the universe is like, just
Right. Yeah, yeah, been there, got a few of those t-shirts.
kidding.
Absolutely. No, and it wasn't safe. I mean, when I was growing up, that's so true. It wasn't safe for me to be seen.
Yeah,
Children were to, well, and the expression was children were to be seen and not heard.
right.
But I wasn't really even seen, you
Yeah,
know. I was just kind of this appendage that had to
yeah,
be dealt with, sort of a feeling. And so I did. We talked about it before we came on. I wasted so many years hiding who I was, what I thought. I knew I thought and felt things different. I came from a military family. So um it's like peeling away layers, isn't it? And it's so important, like you just said, finding a tribe or finding a group that does really have your back and is really there for you, and not like, what is it, a wolf in sheep clothing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
makes me think of trafficking or people who get trapped where they're offering them a way out, but then they're in a worse situation than what they had.
Yeah, and I wonder like how often we are subscribing to organizations and cultures that actually are harming more than helping, but they're so familiar. We choose that familiarity and that comfort of the familiarity over our sovereignty and our wholeness, and our inner alarms are going off, but we've been conditioned for so long not to listen to them, and the fear of unbelonging is so deeply ingrained in us. Like, that's an innate need. I actually just posted on social media because I had a friend say this to me recently, just this little quote that uh, the process of unbelonging is one of the most courageous things we can ever do. Like, to actually say, actually, this group that I've subscribed to, or this set of beliefs, or this, culture even that I have belonged to since I could remember anything, is not supporting me, and I'm now going to remove myself from it. It's like sitting on the outside of the village, knowing that the lions are right behind you and you're now ostracized from the village. And it's like, that's real, like I like nervous system work is in action there. And then when we have those experiences, it's those things that all those inner voices again kick back in to say, see, you can't be yourself. You can't be truly you. Like, all this, like, into me, see, whatever. It's bull crap. Like, and then we get to like do the work again at another level. Um, so it is such a process, and I do, again, I find that whether you're talking about just going live and opening a Facebook group like you've done, or you're talking about writing your own book, or you're talking about actually letting yourself be deeply loved by someone.
It is. It's really, I mean, I remember I'm an introvert by nature. I love being an introvert. I love who I am. I love being with myself. And the thought of being seen and opening and doing this group was terrifying. And now here I am, not even 5 months later. And now it's like, bring it on. It's like, it's like, you love me or you don't, and what you think of me is none of my business. It only matters how I feel about myself. But at the same time, by allowing myself to be seen, I magnetize the most amazing women like yourself that are just being of great service in the world. And I'm so incredibly grateful that you're here and that you're willing to step up and play your part.
Thank you. And you too.
Yeah, no, it's just been a really powerful day. It's interesting. Um, well, for the sake of time, and I know that you were having some challenges technically on your side, what would be some parting words of wisdom that you would like to share with the group today?
Hmm. Oh, let me just sit with that question for one moment.
Absolutely.
Well, what comes immediately right back is Death Mother. Anyone who listens to this and hasn't heard of that is going to be like, what did you just say? Um, because when you first hear that, it's like this, because I've coached that now for about a year. Um, this piece of like, oh, I have felt that, and we don't know, and no one's speaking about it. It's like this giant elephant that is in every room, and we're like, oh, I have been experiencing that. That there's so much tenderness there. I think there's you visibility, and like truly being seen and known is not something that you have to put pressure on or rush. Um, and each step requires that we have our own back. And so I think that in my journey with understanding how much scarcity has been perpetuated by all the different people around me and structures and organizations around me, is I have been giving myself so much grace to learn how to properly mother myself. to properly love and honor myself and my needs. And so when that fear comes in, and says, what are we doing? This is stupid. Go back to the village, like go back to the safety, that I can place my hands over my heart. And I feel like any powerful man or woman, it doesn't matter your gender, any powerful individual who's seeking to lead in today, as we are shifting into a new earth, has to have some kind of practice like this. Like I talk to myself regularly, and this is what the conversation sounds like. Like, I hear that you're scared. I'm here for you. We've got this. We're in this together. And we can take all the time that we need. And it's okay that this hurts. Like, it's not right the way that people are treating you. And, I love you and I'm here for you. Like, to have that conversation with yourself and to have that relationship, that it takes practice and time. It's just like any other relationship that we build to support ourselves so we can continue to say yes to our vision and our purpose and our passion, and actually being seen the way that we want to be seen, to feel like I can show up in the world and be wholly me, not some fraction of me that makes me feel more scarcity.
That's so, you're speaking to my heart. I'm so grateful that you have stepped up. And I don't know if we have time, but we'll
I'm doing
talk
good.
about, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Okay, I wanted to ask you a little bit, you talked about you started a publishing company. I wanted to touch on that real quick. Tell us more about what made you decide to do that, and what is it about?
Yeah, I stepped in as CEO of a publishing company last year, and I learned so much from that experience, how much I enjoy working with authors. I am a 7-time international best-selling author, and USA Today best-selling author. So I have been on the author side many times, but I realized how much I love working with people who are willing to share their story in this way. And I feel that part of the new earth, what this is asking of us, it's not all that new. It's actually like a lot of reclamation of what once was, like storytelling. Storytelling is so powerful. We contain healing codes. I believe we contain healing codes that are just unique to us. So your story contains powerful healing codes that only you can convey. And the depth to which you convey that is the depth to which you do your own inner work. People will often ask me, like, what makes a powerful story, or what like makes, how do I know if my story is interesting enough? They'll ask me, and the biggest difference between a story that's engaging and like riveting and makes me want more, and a story that doesn't, or that's boring, or that's sad, or makes me feel yucky inside, is the perspective of the storyteller. And so if I'm sharing a story about my own life, if I think that I'm a piece of crap and I tell my story from that place, that's the message that's going to come through. And that's the energy the story is going to convey. If I have done the inner work to go, wow, like, who am I and who have I become through this journey? And I tell the story from that place, it conveys all the healing that I've done within me, is then conveyed to the person reading it, whether they know it or not. So I really try and encourage my authors to focus less on how to's and strategy and etc., and more on like, share the energy and essence of who you are, and then allow the like how to's or the lessons or perspective shifts to kind of distill from that, and let people's inner wisdom like activate by what you share. Because it's powerful, because as a service provider, it's like people actually are paying for you because they want you, they want your energy, not because of necessarily how good you can tell them how to do XYZ, whatever. Like, especially in today's information age, I can go how to anything, even something obscure like how to manifest my best life, or meditate, the best meditation for whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we can Google search that. AI can tell us anything, but what AI can't reproduce is your story. So it feels really good to get to be a part of that and supporting people to leave a legacy of that. You know, when I look at my books and I get to hold them, it's like, oh wow, you know, I think my children's children, when I'm long gone, will still have these books and be like, gosh, you know, our grandma was like a badass. Something big to me, you know?
I love that. I love that so much. Oh my gosh. This has been really fun and really amazing. And I want to let the group know that above this interview, we are going to put how you can get in touch with Melisa and what she's doing and how she can help you tell your story. So, Melisa, thank you so much today. It's been such an honor.
Thank you so much.